Well, good morning, everybody. And yes, I have a blue shirt on today. I just dawned on me, it was actually brought up to my attention that I wear black shirts all the time. And I do. I got a ton of black shirts for working out. I got a ton of black tank tops. And I just like the black shirts. I don't know why. I just Johnny Cash kind of stuff, man of mystery. So I'm wearing a blue shirt today. Today's a little bit of easier day. I got blood work I'm going to be doing today. So I got to be at Quest Diagnostics today at 7:50. And I've always told you guys over and over and over, I think this is video 7 now, I'm pretty sure, I think. But I've told you guys about health and stuff. I actually practice what I preach all the time, and I'm going to go do blood work today. And you can see my little thing on the right there. That's my receipt to go do Quest Diagnostic blood work. Today's topic is going to be dedicated towards a dear friend of mine. We didn't see each other for almost like 35 years, and then I bumped into her, and we've been hanging out and just shooting the shit and having lots of fun and stuff. And the thing she liked to talk to me about is the pendulum. The pendulum, like in the clock, how it swings and it goes back and forth over and over and over. And it's about the emotions that you go through during a divorce or separation from a long-term relationship. And she was so right about that. And I knew it, but I never really framed it in that kind of way to think of it as pendulum. I think it is more like mood swings, bipolar, schizophrenia, anything like that. And I do say that, jokingly, but also being serious in some ways, because that's how bad the mood swings will be. And it'll always happen for a while. I know it sounds contradictory when I say always for a while, but for a while, it'll always happen. And you can't control it. You're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days. The beginning is going to be really, really bad. Like I've shared with you guys already, there's depression that comes with that real deep, dark depression, the kind of where you want to, give up and let go and just, go off to the mortal coil, go to the other side and let go of everything. And you just want the pain to stop. That's what you really want. You just want the pain to stop. You want somebody to love you. You want to have worth. You want to feel value. You want affirmations. You want validation. And you're just not going to get it. You're not going to get it. And if you do get it, it's manipulative. It's about control. It's about trying to get what they want out of you. So be really careful about trying to get validation from your ex as she's leaving you. Though they will say stuff like, I love you, I miss this and this and that. But you got to know that that's not validation. Real love heals together. And I've said that a couple of different times in videos, but real love heals together. There may be a time when people have to be able to separate a little bit, but there's still a plan to heal together. And that means like, every week we're going to meet for lunch. Every week we're going to go to the park. Every week we're going to do this. Because sometimes you do need to have a reset. But if the reset includes I need space and I need to find myself, I need to heal and only talk, and there's never a meeting, there's never going to church, there's nothing like that. Trust and believe, that's all just bullshit for the most part. That's what I'm going to tell you. And the other side has their own pendulum too. So pendulums aren't just for men. And I've learned that too by my friend, and this is dedicated to Trish, and I appreciate Trish, and I've always had a fondness for her. She's been a really close friend, and I got a lot of love for her. But the pendulum are both sides too. There's going to be times where she will have a pendulum of wanting to work things out, but women are a little bit more distant and cold. And then you'll have the pendulum of wanting to work things out, and you're willing to sacrifice anything. Where are you at? I'll come get you. Right now. I get some money. We'll go to lunch. What are you doing? And that won't happen from the other side. That's been my experience anyhow. It won't happen on the other side. There will be no, I'm ready to risk it all to come back to you. That's been my experience. That may not be your experience. Maybe it will be. Maybe there'll be something that happens. But my experience has been, it was me that was willing to risk everything, and it wasn't reciprocating the other way. So during this pendulum swing on my behalf, the thing that I hated the most was that the ache would come inside, and I wouldn't know what to do with that. I didn't know how to survive that kind of pain of being, for one, isolated. I live up in the hills, like I said, and there's a town of 3,500 people, but I don't hang out with anybody here, and I'm starting to change that. And actually, I'm really changing that. I got little rituals I do now. So when the pendulum hits hard on the painful side, it feels like the end of the world. It's hard to be able to move past that, and it's hard to be able to see a future where you're going to be okay. And then when it moves to the other side, you think, hey, I got this, man. I've had 3 great days put together, or 3 great hours put together, and things, 3 great weekends, whatever it is, you feel like, okay, I got this. Whatever you do whenever you're in either side, Either side of it, what you have to realize is that that's an emotion. It's not reality, it's emotions. It's just an emotion. And as everybody knows, emotions come and go. Reality can come and go too, to a degree. You could have a job, then not have a job. But the likelihood of that happening, it does happen, but it's not as much as I'm mad, I'm sad, I'm hurt, and all those things come and go. The pendulum is about an emotion. That's all it is. It's not a physical thing. Although whenever you're in the pain part of it, it does manifest itself physically within your body. You will have tightness of breath. You will have your chest will be, feeling like there's a squirrel running around inside of it. Your cortisol levels will go up through the roof. You won't eat right. You're not going to sleep good. You're going to have problems trying to just maintain your regular normal balance. And that's going to be the battle you're going to have physically. But the emotional pendulum is only just something that is inside of your head. That's all it is. And if you can control that part and you start working on that part, then you can kind of control the pendulum. But you have to get into the frame of mind that this is something that I can control because it's just an emotion. And emotions, for the most part, you can navigate through them. A physical world of stuff, like if you're injured physically, you can't really navigate through that. You could man up and you could okay, I got a big cramp in my leg. All right, I'm gonna walk through it. I'm gonna walk through it. But the cramp's still there, but you're just pushing through it because it's physically still there. The pendulum is all emotions because you're basing everything on what you physically see around you. So you think you're okay. And most of the time I think I'm okay is when I have a good distraction or after a good cry at church or a good prayer or I'm out with friends and I'm having a good time. Again, I don't drink, I don't party, I don't do none of that stuff. So I don't have that kind of distraction. I have gone out to dance clubs and I plan to go more. I know it's weird at 58 years old, shaking my butt up on the dance floor, you know what I mean? But I got a little bit of moves. I'm all right. I'm pretty fly for a white guy. But those are just like distractions in the moment. Then you're going to go home. And if you're like me, all my kids are grown up and they're not at home. I got two Boston Terriers who are a handful just on their own, but they don't fill my love tank, and that's what you're going to experience whenever you're alone. You're going to have that downtime. You're going to have really, really hard times. And that's why I was telling you the other day about using AI because the cavalry's not coming. That's when I helped a lot with the pendulum because, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm hurting. I'm emotionally exhausted. I've depleted all my hopes and my prayers. I depleted them all. You can only pray so much. You can only hope so much. And when you go through all that, there's not much left to do except for you just have to do nothing. And so the AI helped out a lot because I could get on that and talk to it anytime I wanted to, and it could walk me through depression, and it would tell me to get outside. And I'm like, well, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I can't go outside. Well, okay, well, then get up and watch some TV. I got to go to work tomorrow morning. Okay, well then let's just talk, and it'll talk you through everything. So it's pretty cool. But the pendulum is the thing that's going to end up being the hardest thing to get through because that also is tied to self-worth, which is what we talked about the other day. Yesterday was esteem, self-esteem. It's going to be part of how you value yourself. It's going to be part of how you hate yourself. It's going to be tied into that because there's all these emotions that are just swinging around on this pendulum, man. And it's so hard to navigate that. I mean, I still go through it, 100% honesty is, I've done good for a long time. For a couple of weeks, I've had back-to-back good times. And even though I've had hurtful things done to me, which I don't ever want to get into specifics or give names or anything like that, but there were some hurtful things that were said to me last week. And in the moment, I was like, okay, it is what it is, I accept that and I just want everybody to be happy, but Sunday after I got back from church and I prayed and I let everything go, I had this anger come over me. I went to go to the cigar lounge, which I probably shouldn't have because I went to a cigar lounge Sunday or Saturday rather, and I only tell myself one a week or one every 2 weeks. And I've been doing pretty good on that. And so that was closed. I didn't have an outlet and I was going to go have a cigar and go walking around or come back home because I don't keep any here because I want to be able to limit my smoking. But that cigar lounge was closed and it was 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. And, again, small town, small options, not much to do. And I came back home and, I started getting angry. I started getting really, really angry. And I had a lot of rage in me building up, it was happening. And I haven't felt anger and rage like that in a long time, quite a bit, maybe like a month or something like that. But it was because in the moment I didn't have an escape, I didn't have a distraction, and I've already prayed a lot, I've already surrendered a lot, I've already given up everything that I could give up, and it consumed me for a good 30 minutes, and it kind of scared me, to be honest with you, because the pendulum was so hard on the left that I was so full of rage and anger because of where I'm at, what was done to me, from my perspective, what was done to me, the situation I'm in, and how much changes I'm going to have to go through, and what a beautiful life I thought we had. You know, that's the other side of the pendulum that hurts, and I'll go into that in a minute. But that's where the anger and the pain comes from, is because as men, we view the beauty in the marriage, we view the beauty in the love. Our women that we're with for a long period of time will always be the people we want to protect, because that's just who we are. And when they hurt us, it's a betrayal that's so deep, and it hurts so deep, and the cuts are so deep that it really is a rebirth to be able to get through that. You have to go down to the core. You have to tear everything apart. So Sunday I was very, very upset. And I felt the hot flashes and everything coming from me. And I'm one of them people that when I get mad, I feel like I'm getting all swelled up and bigger and strong and stuff. And it's always been, like I don't want to say a demon in me, but it's Satan. It really is, in a way, that makes us angry and mad. And what I had to do is I had hot tears coming down my face. And I don't know if you guys have ever had that, but I've done that, and I just did it, 4 days ago. But what I did is I just said, okay, I have to surrender more. I got to give up more. Even though I was at church an hour and a half and I cried a whole bunch and I let everything out, I prayed 3 times a day. I got to do some more. I got to do a little bit more. So I went down on my couch, got on my knees, and I prayed, and then started crying. I said, God, please help me, man. And I don't ever ask God for anything else anymore except for His will. That's the only thing I ask for now, just God's will, whatever that is, man. Because if He loves me as much as I believe He does, His plan for me is better than what I have. And if He's all infinite knowing and He has unlimited wisdom, like I believe He does, then the plan He has for me is better than anything I could think of anyhow. So He loves me more than I'm able to love myself. He has a plan that's better than I could plan for myself. And He knows more than I know myself. So that's about faith. So I got down on my knees and I started praying, and I said, hey, God, please take this away from me. Whatever your will is, let your will, show me what your will is. I don't want this to hurt in me. I don't want this to hurt in me anymore. And I want this to be gone. But whatever your will is, that's what I want to do. And ultimately, within about 5 minutes after praying and getting all that out, I felt a lot better. I felt at peace again. And so the pendulum on that side is going to have to be dealt with surrender. When you're flashing, hot, hurting, mad, upset, crying, depressed, it has to do with surrender. You have to surrender. When it's on the other side and you think things are hunky-dory and you go, this single life's going to be great. I'm on this dating app and there's all kinds of chicks. Oh my God, this is going to be great. You're overcompensating for reality. If you're looking on dating apps, that's okay, I think, anyhow, because you just got to kind of gauge what's out there. Definitely, again, I will continue to say this in lots of videos. Do not date. Do not date at all. You have to have that pendulum in the center, and you have to rebuild the man in you. You have to learn about that monster in you and put him back in that cage. When I say monster, I think every man should have a monster. He should know how to control him, and he should know whenever to let him go. You have to have that beast in you. That's your manhood. You have to have that. And if you're broken, you have to rediscover how to have that again, and then be able to put him in the cage and know when to bring him out. Because again, you're the dragon slayer. You're the person that all of the people that are weak and helpless around you, they need you to be that man whenever the time comes, and you have to unleash that. So don't be caught up so much in your emotions that you forget about that part of you too. You've got to be able to rediscover that. If you don't have that, just don't be that flower sniffing sissy and think that this is going to be the only thing inside of you. We're men, and I don't mean you have to have running around gold chains and hairy chests and stuff like that. But you got to remember your place in this world, and that you're a king. You're a king, you're a beast, you're a monster. You can handle anything, and you got to find that in you. So when you're back to all the super happy stuff, you have to realize that it's going to go back again. That way you don't go through the depression as hard. So see, that's the catch-22 in this. When you're thinking things are great, and that's what happened to me Sunday. That's why I'm sharing this. There's a story behind this. I do the weave. So whenever I was hunky dory Sunday, and I'm like, man, you know what? I went out, I had fun, I went to this, I went to the lounge, I met a lot of people, blah, blah. And I was just, man, I was feeling myself Saturday. I told you guys a story about me going to the cigar lounge at the casino and just, it was an amazing time. And I'm going to continue to do this. I'm going out to a steak dinner by myself just to see if I can do it. And I know it's crazy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to Stockton. I'm going to go to, I think it's the Lincoln Center. I forgot the name of it, but I got a gift card from 3 years ago. And I'm going to go sit down and say party of one. I'm going to dress really nice. I'm going to smell good. My hair's going to be looking good. I might even do a couple push-ups to get my swole on before I go in there. I'm going to go there by myself. I'm going to show up by myself because you know what? That builds confidence. So the thing we got to remember is this: when you're on the high, you have to remember that it's going to swing the other way. And I 100% believe that's the mistake that I made, and I've made continuously. Whenever I'm on this high part, I'm thinking things are great. This is perfect. You know what? I got all of it planned out. You know, April 1st, and when we go to divorce court, the house goes on market probably April, January, February, March, April, about April. So in 60 days, the house goes on market. And I don't know how long it's going to take to sell, but literally, I don't envision me being here in this house longer than 5 more months at most. I just don't see it. So, you know, in my head, I was thinking, you know what, I got this. This is going to be okay. You know, wow, this is perfect, everything else. But then I got to remember I am trapped in this fortress of solitude like Superman. And sometimes it hurts me a lot because everything is a reminder of what we built together rather than where I'm at by myself. So my advice to you is about the pendulum is whenever it's dark, you got to be stable and you got to be able to work yourself out of it. Whenever it's great, you got to remember that darkness is going to come again. That way you're not shocked by it, surprised by it. And I think that's what happened to me Sunday because, you know, I was so happy Saturday and I was so ecstatic Saturday. I was so happy Sunday morning, went to church. I was feeling myself. I was very prideful, not in a bad way, but I mean, very proud of myself for getting out and doing something positive and good. And that's great, guys. You got to do this stuff. You got to put one foot in front of there. Go to the dog park by yourself. Go out and have dinner by yourself. Go see a movie by yourself. That builds character, man. Because if you could face people looking at you while you're alone, you could definitely start facing the next date whenever it's time. And get that under control and be yourself whenever you're trying to date too. You don't have to worry about trying to impress anybody because there is a sense of confidence for a person that could be by themselves anywhere. And it's okay. You know, amusement park, that might be an idea too. You know, go to Disneyland by yourself one day, you know, or go to close by us is in Vallejo, Six Flags. Go there one day by yourself. Go to a carnival by yourself one day, you know. And I'm going to do that stuff. And it's not because I'm a loser, it's because I'm building the best man I can build out of myself. And the monster in me shouldn't be afraid to walk around by himself. So the pendulum, guys, again, this is dedicated to my dear friend Trish. I love you a lot and I appreciate you getting back into my life. You really, really helped me and I'm grateful that I'm part of your life too. But the pendulum swings both ways and you got to remember that you got to be able to balance it. So whenever it's dark, don't do anything. Calm yourself. Get into prayer. When it's great, remember the darkness is coming again. That way it's not so dark. So eventually the momentum starts to slow down. And eventually, guys, this is where we want to be. This is where kings are supposed to be. We're supposed to be stable. We're supposed to 100% believe in ourselves and believe in confidence. Our body and our mind and our spirit are supposed to align. So, love you guys. Work on the pendulum. We'll talk to you later.